What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon GO Battle League content, and by Jove, I've done it. I've found a Master League team that I can actually use and not get completely obliterated with every time I touch the league. We're trying out the brand new Therian Landorus with that Sandsear Storm legacy move. You can either catch it in raids right now, or use an Elite TM to pop Sandsear Storm on it. I would play Sandsear Storm and Stone Edge, personally. We've got Glaciate Kyurem in the back on the safe swap, and I just finished maxing out my XL Zarude after grinding all those rare XL candies. And I remember that Landorus and Zarude make a really good core, and Kyurem and Landorus make a really good core. So let's check out these battles, because this team was super solid in the Master League. Went 4-1 back-to-back with it, and then some on stream with the team. So we get a really miserable lead here to start. I go straight into my Kyurem for this matchup here, and I let the opponent get to a move because they decide to stay in. Obviously, I can't have anything to do with it, but I'm going to not shield this Avalanche here. Then the opponent's going to come in with Reshiram. I'm going to farm up as much as I possibly can. And I'm going to go for the... oh, excuse me, it's got my cough still. It's not going away. I'm going to go for the Dragon Claw. Leaves the opponent down in a farm-ishable range. But to be completely honest, it's still a bit of a dangerous range. I'm going to eat one move. Fusion Flare is going to hurt. But I'm going to go for this farm down and realize I'm not going to get it. And I'm a bozo, dude. My Zarude comes in. Let's see if Zarude can save the day. Opponent's got a Mamoswine. They're coming in with this big old pig here, Mr. Pumbaa himself. And I'm going to try to go for a farm down. Maybe throw a move here and get a shield if I can. And then hope that whatever in the back doesn't destroy my Zarude. And so the opponent is going to let this go. And they come in with Zekrom. And I'm like, okay, this is not good. Don't fret, trainers. This is only one of the losses. This is not over. Trust me. I concede. I know I'm not winning this game, so we're going to get into the next one. And I forgot to add it out the queue times. I'm good at this. Once in a while, they just slip through the cracks, I guess, right? Getting into the next battle, we got Landorus on the lead versus Dialga. This is where you want to see it. Now, here's the thing. Sandsear Storm became... It allowed Landorus to become a much better... answer to these steel types like Dialga. So now instead of having to land a superpower, I can instead let my Sandsear Storms get caught on Kyogre. But my opponent safe swapped in a Kyogre, so I can immediately answer with Zarude. The thing is that Zarude has Dark Pulse. It's going to allow me to hit back that Dialga for neutral damage. I tried to undercharge for a little bit more energy, but I didn't want to risk them getting to a Blizzard. I know they were still a couple away, but I just didn't want to take the risk, so I just let it loose. Dark Pulse is going to do just about half of the Dialga's remaining HP, and then the opponent is going to throw a move here. I'm just going to let it go. They go for Draco Meteor, it's fine with me, but instead they go for Iron Head. It's going to allow me to get to another Dark Pulse. So the opponent now has to deal with my Landorus and Kyurem core, which is, they got a Ho-Oh in the back. There's really no hope here for him. All I have to do is go for a couple of Glaciates and then get to a Stone Edge on my Lando and take the win. So good game to the opponent. Getting into the next battle, got Landorus against Ho-Oh. This is not a bad matchup by any means, since you outpace to those Stone Edges. But opponent immediately pops him with a Mewtwo, and because I know that I can get to the move first, I'm going to go ahead and go for it. Opponent doesn't shield up, so now we're going to find out if this Mewtwo has a move that isn't Shadow Ball, right? So there's either double Legacy Mewtwo, and they got Shadow Ball. I'm committing to a full farm down of this Mewtwo once I find out they have Shadow Ball. Yes, I know. Ho-Oh is in the back. Yes, I know it's not going to be a fun thing for me to deal with, but that's okay, because I have two Pokemon that can tangle with Ho-Oh, and Kyurem, it gets in farm down range after I land two Dark Pulses, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to launch these Dark Pulses. I had a thought here to swap out into something else in order to save this energy on my Zarude, but I opt against it for whatever reason. I'm really not sure. I think I figured I'd just let the RPS play itself out, right? Because at this point, I know my opponent's probably not going to want to shield anything. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get to another Dark Pulse here. So Kyurem's going to come in. I am going to put up the first shield of this game here because I'm not taking a Sacred Fire. That would probably obliterate me. And then the opponent's got a Dialga, so I come in with my Lando, and I'm going to go straight for the Sandsear Storms. Now, here's the thing, is the opponent has to land a Draco Meteor to take me out, And I know that it's like 21 Dragon Breaths to get there, and I'm pretty sure my opponent threw that way quicker than that. So I'm going to let it go. They just went for the Iron Head. I should be able to get 3 more Mud Shots in than I do, which is going to eliminate the opponent's final shield. And now I'm hopeful that they're low enough that my Kyurem can come in, farm down enough with a shield. But the opponent is going to throw a move here before I'm able to get to mine. And at this point, the switch clocks are coming back up, so I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to overfarm a little bit, and the opponent swaps right there. So now that I'm at about 2 Dragon Claws, I'm going to go for the first Dragon Claw before the Incinerate goes through, just so they can't get to a charge move. And then I'm going to be able to Dragon Claw the Dialga and take the game. Very well played. That was a very close game. Thankfully, calling that swap was what really did it there. Getting into the next battle, we've got Landorus against a Dragonite. This is a very difficult lead for this team, not going to lie. What I do here is I swap into Kyurem to try and bait out the inevitable steal in the back, and I like to use that steal to try and farm down for Landorus and look to get energy so I can start threatening with Stone Edges against the Dragonite. Because obviously, with Mud Shot, you're not doing any fast move damage whatsoever. So I'd much rather swap out, lure out something like a steal, which is really what this team is designed to do. Kyurem is there to lure out, you know, the Dialga, the Metagross, the thing that just walls Zarude, right? Well, it doesn't wall it because dark typing, but, you know, obviously a grass type against a steel type is generally not going to be a positive matchup. So I'm going to come in with my Landorus here, and I'm looking to farm them all the way down as they are now double debuffed, and they are not in a good place. They're going to go for Rock Slides, not doing a whole lot, but they're going to get to quite a few Rock Slides, which is what's dangerous here. So I'm going to fully farm this thing down, and afterwards, what I'm going to look to do is try to get at least a shield off of the opponent, maybe 2. Opponent gets to a last second Rock Slide. Very uncomfortable, but I didn't want to throw this energy because I need maximum energy to threaten these Stone Edges. So I'm going to go for the Sandsear Storm first because I'm going to make a cheeky little bait session here. And we get the shield. The opponent calls it as a Stone Edge. And now I'm going to throw the real Stone Edge and see if the opponent wants to shield again. But they don't. Boom! The opponent's got a Rhyperior in the back, and that's going to be a good game. Zarude is core, it's not even core breaking, but it's finding its targets, and that's what makes it so enjoyable for me, and that's why I built it. And I also built it realizing that I could have saved those XLs for like my Zygarde or something, but it was a little too late. I had already dumped about 200 XLs into my Zarude and got it to like level 47 or so. And I just finished the job today on stream. Just figured I'd at least get it off of my list of things that I need to get done. So that I can start putting all of my rare XLs towards something else now, which I've only got 20 of them, so I guess you're starting at the bottom and working our way back up anyway. Gonna tank that Meteor Mash, come back in with Landorus. The opponent's taken 2 Glaciates by now, and that's the beauty of Kyurem on the save swap, is even though it lures out stuff, it'll get those Glaciates, and it'll be able to debuff things so that Landorus can safely farm down. It's not the tankiest thing, but the opponent swaps in their own Landorus, and now I know we're good because I can be able to go for 2 Stone Edges here back to back. The opponent, I felt like that was quick, but I didn't trust my own counts. Opponent just went for Sandsear Storm, and I have to be honest, okay? I know I'm playing in the 2400 elo range, and I know that these aren't like, you know, the trainers here aren't exactly like, you know, I don't even want to say it because it feels disrespectful. But what I saw today was trainers just throwing Sandsear Storms endlessly into Zarude, into everything. And it dumbfounded me a little bit. Don't play the bait game. If you're gonna play the bait game, build up to the Stone Edge before you throw it. At least do that much, because now all I have to do is go for the move. But there was a couple of games where like it was my Zarude versus the opponent's Landorus, and they just kept throwing Sandsear Storm, expecting it to make the difference here. So this game is winnable, but I have to make a catch here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw on 6, and we get the catch. This was so hyped to be able to do this because I've definitely failed quite a lot of catches lately, but that was a nice one to be able to get because Landorus wins CMP over Zarude quite heftily. And so it's just, that's the only way I was going to win that game. So, well played to the opponent, though. Good game, but thankfully making that catch. I'm not ratting on that trainer specifically for Sandsear Storm, by the way. I'm just saying that, like, there were a couple of battles today where it literally was just throwing Sandsear Storm as though they had no other charge move. Like, build up to the Stone Edge, build up to, you know, whatever you have, and then throw it if you're going to try to threaten a shield. Because it's ground type damage. Zarude can handle it. It's fine. Opponent goes for the Earthquake, and it's a Zygarde, dude. I'm about to go in against the Zygarde. I save swap into my Kyurem after getting that debuff. They go for the full scent Earthquake, and it really doesn't even do that much. And now, I'm actually thinking about getting a farm down here, because this would be nice. So, Avalanche, I'm paying close attention. I know that they need 6 more. I'm counting. They're not able to get there, which means I now have a Glaciate ready to go for that Zygarde when it comes back in, if it comes back in, and it does. So we're going to go for the Glaciate, and then that's going to force 1 shield. The opponent may well have to use their other shield if they're afraid of it. Now, I don't think I could have made it to a Glaciate here, so I went straight for the Dragon Claw, going straight for this chip damage here. Opponent, going to let it go. They're getting low. I come in straight with my Zarude instead of coming with Landorus because I resist both Crunch and Earthquake, and I'm not worried about it here. Easy, easy tank, and the opponent's got a Mewtwo in the back, and that's all she wrote. This is a good game. The opponent Zygarde means nothing to me because everything on this team has incredibly good play into it, and we just go for the Dark Pulse. We catch on the Lando because I know that I don't need it anymore. So I'm just gonna let the Mewtwo have my Lando here. I'm gonna go for the very, very, very minimal amount of HP left before I throw that move, and they surrender. Good game. Getting into our next battle, we got a Mewtwo on the lead this time. So I haven't really figured out the consistent way to play this. Sometimes I wonder if I should just dip straight to Kyurem or if I should stay in, go for Sandstorm. You know, I have to shield the first Psy Strike because it does a lot of damage, right? So maybe that is the way to go, but most often behind, you know, things like Mewtwo, there's going to be a Dialga in the back, so I need to lure that out. But now I wanted to get another shield, but now the opponent, I'm just going to no-shield us because it's less damage. The opponent will have to shield us if they lose their Mewtwo, and I'm thinking that it's probably better to just go straight to Kyurem after the first one, right? I don't know. It's hard to say because I really wanted to get it down to the 1 shields, and the opponent pops up with a Lugia here, which is an interesting... it's an interesting situation for my Kyurem because it deals super effective with the Glaciate. Excuse me. I'm telling you, it just comes out of nowhere. Me throwing on a horrible timing there, unfortunately, but able to get to this next Glaciate. The opponent not shielding it leaves them in a very, very low range of HP. They have to throw the Aero Blast. They're not going to take me out here. They full set the Aero Blast. Respect it. Zarude comes in for a resisted farm down. The opponent has a Mewtwo in the lead. They're not coming in with the Mewtwo. No, they're not. They come in with that Groudon, and this whole team is able to dunk on Groudon, and this is going to be a good game. The opponent does not have the ability to get past my Zarude, even with Fire Punches being super effective, unless they have Focus Blast or Ice Beam on that Mewtwo. They are not going to be able to do much here. I'm going to go for a farm down, try to catch the move on my Landorus. They're going to get that Fire Punch off, so I don't have to worry about taking it on my Zarude, and then it's just a matter of getting the 2 Dark Pulses against this Mewtwo, and that's going to be a good game here. Well played to the opponent. And I also respect him for not top lefting. I know there's definitely times where you top left, but just taking it on the chin and going in is a good game. I like it. Getting into the next battle here, we got Landorus on the lead versus another Dragonite. This time, I think I'm just gonna swap straight to Kyurem, and thankfully the opponent has a steal in the back that they decide to bring in. Now, this is an awkward matchup for me because obviously everything I'm throwing is resisted, but Glaciate makes it very, very good for me to be able to debuff something like a Steel when it comes in. So, and again, like I mentioned earlier, so that Landorus can just farm it down. If I can farm this down and then I have Stone Edges ready to go, you saw what happened last time. The opponent has to shield and respect it because a Stone Edge will literally one-shot. Opponent going for Psychic Fangs making me think that maybe they've got like Iron Head or something instead. If the opponent goes for a Psychic Fangs, which they do, I can get to a Glaciate here, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this Glaciate. This is actually going to make the opponent shield or lose Switch, which they don't want to because they don't know what I have in the back. For all they know, I could have like a Dialga or something else in the back. So I'm just going to go ahead and fully farm this thing down with Landorus here. Opponent is going for a Psychic Fangs to lower my defense, and then they go immediately for another move. I'm like, is this another Psychic Fangs? But no, they had the energy to go for an Iron Head here, so they send it, and then I get the farm down. It's not enough of a farm down necessarily to do what we did last time, but it's enough energy to go for a Stone Edge, and the opponent makes a Peekaboo play into a Groudon, which is perfectly fine for me. Zarude does need to put in some overtime, but I make a massive mistake here and let the Fire Punch go, forgetting that my defense was dropped. I'm not going to be able to live it, and now the opponent's got enough Fire Punches. I need 3 Dark Pulses to take out this Dragonite, and I need enough HP to be able to survive moves here. So I'm going to go for the Power Whip here right away, just so that the opponent can't throw more Fire Punches at me. That's going to take them out. And now I need to get to, once again, 3 Dark Pulses, so if we can do it, we're good. Opponent's not going to throw a Superpower right now, so I'm not going to shield yet. I'll shield the second one, because that's more likely to be a Superpower, or honestly, it's to me a Dragon Claw, let's be honest. Had I not made the bozo play of letting my Landorus go, I would have had a Stone Edge loaded on my Landorus in the back. I could have won this game. I just need to get the shield, which I do here with the Dark Pulse, and then I could have swapped in my Landorus, gone for the Stone Edge and won. But unfortunately, I very sorely was mistaken at how much damage that Fire Punch was going to do, and that was a good game. Getting into the next battle here, we got a Giratina on the lead, so immediate swap to Kyurem, as we have 2 better answers in the back, as most of these don't run Dragon Pulse. Opponent swaps in a Ho-Oh. This is a winnable situation. I'm going to go for some decent timing here with the Glaciate. Going to throw it and look to get the debuff on this Ho-Oh before they can throw a charge move at me. Opponent doesn't shield, and this immediately is flippable. And when I see a Mewtwo or a Giratina or a Kyogre, anything that gets destroyed by Zarude, switch immediately becomes the most important thing over having shield advantage. So I'm going to go for the Dragon Claw and get the first shield off my opponent. They are going for another charge move here. I'll give them both shields. I'm fine with this because I can still farm them down at this point, and I still have a Glaciate ready to go. I have it, and they come in with a Rayquaza instead of coming in with the Giratina, which makes sense, I guess. But I mean, if I was going to tank this on one thing, it definitely wouldn't have been the Rayquaza, as it's double super effective. But the opponent looking to go for a breaking swipe here, and I've got Zarude in the back. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be able to take out the Rayquaza, and then I'm going to go for the Sandsear Storm, lower the attack of the Giratina, going to drop in my Zarude, and the opponent probably concedes at that point. But if they don't, I'm just going to go for 2 Dark Pulses, and then that's going to be the game there. So well played to the opponent either way. This is unfortunately looking to be pretty over, as they do not have the Dragon Pulse. Getting into the next battle, we got Landorus on the lead versus another Mamoswine. We start with Mamoswine, we end with Mamoswine, going straight into the Kyurem, but unfortunately the game says, no, you're going to throw a fast move first because you tapped slightly on the border of the box. Okay, sure, whatever you want, man. So, going to go for the Glaciate here. Opponent shields up the Glaciate, and I'm going to take the shield advantage here and let it go. The opponent throwing right away allows me to overfarm a little bit with Landorus. It's like 16 or 7, I think it's 17 Dragon Breaths to an Iron Head. So that's going to allow me to overfarm by just enough here, and Landorus can go for the Sandsear Storm. This is, I believe, the range in which it'll KO, and it does. And now the opponent has a Mamoswine, they come back in with it, get some farm, and now my Zarude's going to pop in with hopefully a shield advantage. The opponent doesn't shield this. They did shield that Dialga, and now they have a Giratina in the back. Zarude doing its job, core breaking the team. The thing is with Mamoswine is, as long as you have shields to plow through and you've done some damage beforehand, it's not that bad. As you guys probably saw in that first game when I was looking to take him out with that Power Whip, I was expecting to shield because I thought they were weak in the back, but they weren't. But Zarude with 2 shields can can Vine Whip through a fair amount of a Mamoswine, as you're going to see here. I have 2 shields. As long as they can't get to 3 charge moves, which they're not, you're going to be able to KO with that Vine Whip damage. Farm down for the win, taking a win, back-to-back 4-1s, and honestly, if I didn't make a mistake, this one could have been a 5-0. So getting rare XLs too on the reward track. This week, these times where we have increased win rewards, I like to plow through with the green passes, try and stock up on extra Stardust and those rare XLs if I can get them. That's going to do it for today's video, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. This team was an absolute blast to run. If you don't have a Zarude, you could throw Dialga back there like Zekrom. You just need something that really beats the snot out of Kyogre and Ice types if you can help it. And other things that Landorus doesn't like, maybe like Giratina, right? So that's pretty much going to be it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.